So, ladies and gentlemen, many of us are very committed sports fans, as am I. My sport is soccer or football. My team is Liverpool FC. And I speak about Liverpool. It's in my home. Go to games, cheer for the team. I love the sport, all of that. But one of the things that we tend to look past as Christians is when we have misplaced dedication and misplaced commitment to things that we elevate to a certain place that ought not to be elevated to that place. And so, which is essentially idolatry. When we elevate things to the place of God or close to God, then that is idolatry. And idolatry comes in various forms and packages. As a matter of fact, it's one of the tools I think that Satan uses to entrap people and get their attention away from God. Now, one of the Liverpool coaches that is historically is a legend in the game was a gentleman named Bill Shankly. As a matter of fact, Bill Shankly is credited to forming Liverpool to be the team it is today. That's been the kind of influence he's had on the game. And I want to play you a little video of Bill Shankly when he's talking about the game, and he uses this very interesting language. I believe this was a interview from probably the 60s or the 70s. And so why don't you check this out and then we'll talk about that.
The manager of the Liverpool Football Club.
Well, that's it.
That's it.
Come on,
This is my church.
He said, "This is my church." That field, that is Anfield. That's the stadium Liverpool still plays in. And he says, "This is my church." And look at the religious language that he uses. As far as I know, Bill Shankly was no believer in God. But he uses very, very interesting language that is extremely religious.
Why'd you say that?
Because this is where I live.
He says, "Why do you say that this is your church?" And his response is, "This because this is where I live." Man, I wish that we had a view of the church as being so essential to our existence, where we go, this is where we live. Now, we know that the church is not a building that we go to, even though that it's part of that. The church is a group of people that gather together. We are the temple of God being raised up. But he says, this is where I live. That's why this is my church. I wish we had that kind of a view of the church, of the people of God, that we existed amongst one another for the glory of God.
This is where my life is. Despite the fact that we have got two teams in this city, one plays at Goodison, which isn't far from here, and one plays here, and they play against each other. There's animosity, but there's no fights.
Yeah.
They can behave themselves.
Yeah.
They can argue to the point of fighting, but I've never seen a fight here.
There's people actually come here to get buried.
People come here with the ashes of their relatives have been cremated. Yeah. And they scatter the ashes and all over the cup, all over the Anfield ground here, at this end, at the Anfield Road.
So basically, a lot of people will bury their dead, and then what they will end up doing is actually scatter their ashes at the stadium, at where the goals are. I want you to realize how committed people would have to be to a sports team where they would do something like that. And then we stand, and people still do this till this day. And then we have the kind of audacity to stand there and say things like, we're a secular society. I don't want you guys to fall victim into thinking that we actually live in a secular society. We don't live in a secular society. Human beings have always lived in religious societies. It's just the religions change. And so it might not be outwardly religious, but sporting events and teams and the songs people sing and the commitment they have to them, as good as they are, as fun as they are and for their our enjoyment and fun and all that stuff, we ought not to take to a place where it comes to close to God. Where here's what people have done. People have gotten rid of God in their lives, and then they have placed God with sports teams. So I was at a pub with my son a week ago watching a Liverpool game. And some of the songs there's songs I don't sing because I can't in good conscience sing them, but the other fans sing. Some of the songs were Christmas carols and Christmas hymns that had been replaced by players' names, teams' names. That's idolatry in the plainest sense of the word. And people might look at it and go, oh, but it's not. No, but it is. You've taken things for God and you've replaced them with the thing that you are now worshiping. People find their identity in their team. People find their meaning in life in their team. And that's idolatry. That's the very definition of idolatry, ladies and gentlemen.
The end, down the side, in here, and the net here, a yard inside the line. So that's the spirit of Liverpool.
So that's the basic aspect to this, is that, we might be committed to teams and we support you. Do it in good fun. Enjoy it. It's for your amusement and your fun. But do not make it the center and focal point of your existence. Because only God, the Creator, owns that right. There's only one being in the universe. There's one being in existence that has a right to be the central and focal and most important being in your life. Nothing else. Everything else is idolatry.